Bible study with Fred. I'm in Proverbs chapter 19, starting in verse 10. Delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes. From the literal perspective, for the ancient Hebrews, there was much of good, sound advice in this proverb about the injustice of servants ruling over princes and about how out of place it seemed that fools should enjoy the blessings of God. Delight is defined as appreciation of, enjoyment with, and pleasure in. See verses like Genesis 34:19, Numbers 14:8, Deuteronomy 10:15 and 21:14, 1 Samuel 15:22 and 18:22. Fool is defined most prominently in Psalm 53:1. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. Corrupt are they, and have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good. Now, we could not imagine the President of the United States going home to the White House and he and his staff and cabinet having to answer to the White House butler. It might make for a funny sitcom on TV, but it would be ridiculous to imagine. It's not even conceivable in normal terms. We would think absolutely goofy the idea of a group of senators being ordered around by a Capitol Hill janitor, unless, of course, he had some unpleasant photographs he was blackmailing them with. To rule is to have power over, as per Esther 9:1. The very idea of a fool taking delight in the blessings of the Lord appears unreasonable, and Solomon, speaking with the understanding that God's inspiration gave him, says that it is unseemly. In God's Commonwealth of Israel, it was unseemly for an unbelieving person to receive the things of God that he would by virtue of his living in Israel that the Hebrews received. And this is linked to the injustice and odd thought of a servant having rule over princes. We find it unseemly and awkward that God's blessings pour out on fools and God's people alike, but that's the way God would have it. Matthew 5:43 through 45. You have heard that it hath been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the sun, to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. The prophets of old lamented this fact of God's mercy toward the wicked. Jeremiah 12:1. Righteous art thou, O Lord, when I plead with thee. Yet let me talk with thee of thy judgments. Wherefore doth the way of the wicked prosper? Wherefore are all they happy that deal very treacherously? Habakkuk 1:13. Thou art of purer eyes than to behold evil, and canst not look on iniquity. Wherefore lookest thou upon them that deal treacherously, and holdest thy tongue when the wicked devoureth a man that is more righteous than he? It riles some of us that the wicked don't always seem to have the trouble that we think they deserve. But God's mercy is long-suffering. His patience is enduring. The fools will never be able to say they didn't have a chance to turn to the living God. As unseemly as it appears, they have their delight in God's blessings, even though they refuse to acknowledge His grace in their lives. And to some of us, this looks about as ridiculous and strange as the idea of the king of Saudi Arabia's gardener having power over him. Now we'll go to verse 11 now. The discretion of a man deferreth his anger, and it is his glory to pass over a transgression. There are many men who view their ability to explode at the slightest provocation a sign of their manhood. You see it and hear about it all the time in daily life. On the internet, some man can't even have a civilized conversation with someone who disagrees with them without cursing, placing their responses in all caps, and name-calling. This is just the sign of an immature, small-minded little boy in an adult body. Flying off the handle at the least opposition reflects badly on your character and on your maturity. If you have a short fuse, you have an I haven't grown up problem. You'll probably even get angry reading or hearing this because you are so enamored of your righteous fury. God honors discretion in your attitude as you hold back your anger. After all, if God gave us what we deserve and responded to everything that made him angry, we would have ceased to exist a long time ago, and only the wild animals would rule the earth. It is your glory to pass over a transgression, to just let things pass that tick you off and to move on. Take a chill pill, cool your jets, and go cut the grass or lift weights. Go get it out of your system. Proverbs 14:29. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is of a hasty of spirit exalteth folly. Proverbs 16:32. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. Proverbs 12:16. A fool's wrath is presently known, but a prudent man covereth shame. It's one thing to admit you have an anger problem and that you realize it's a sin. It's another to glory and revel in it. Are you a fool? Do you like being a fool? How has it helped you? I have some bad news for you. Neither God nor I nor the world, for that matter, are particularly impressed with your bluster, swagger, hot temper, foul mouth, or vulgarities. I've seen families torn apart by tempers like yours, Physically weaker people hurt and abused and lives brought low. If you are quick to anger, then get on your knees and pray for mercy and for deliverance. Your behavior is not pleasing to God. Christians believe, though not all, that it is good for a child to receive physical discipline for deliberately wrong behavior. But it is never good for a child for this discipline to be meted out while you are angry. If you say, well, if I wait until I cool off, I'd never spank my child, then if that's so, it wasn't appropriate. Don't take action while you're, quote, mad. If an action shouldn't be taken with a clear head and a clear heart, then it is not a good action in any event. You're never to teach your child that violence is an appropriate response to anger. Good parents will discipline a child and make it very clear why the discipline is necessary. I've heard of children who actually thank their parents for disciplining them later. Proverbs 27:3. A stone is heavy and the sand weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than them both. Okay, we're going to stop there and pick it up in verse 12 next. I'm asking you, as I always do, please read your Bible, study your Bible, cross-reference the verses, pray to God for wisdom and understanding, and then share your interpretation with someone else. Open the Bible and let God speak to you through his words today. You can purchase my comments on Amazon, or you can follow me on blogger.com, print them out, read them, no charge. But if you watch this video this far, would you please click like and subscribe or follow and share the video? Thank you very much.